This is Al Fritz from earthhealing.info, and we have our YouTube series now, and we have Carol Holler from here in Estill County in the Garden Thyme Herb Club. She's a co-president of it, and we're so happy to have you tell us all about roses.
Okay.
Okay. And she grows beautiful roses in this area.
The first thing we're going to do is plant a potted rose. And we started the hole with actually with a post hole digger on the back of the tractor to get it deep enough to break the herb pan, because we have clay soil. So it's deep, and then fill it in. When you pot a rose, such as this from a nursery, some roses will come in a pot or bare root. If they're bare root, you have to pot them if you're not going to put them straight in the ground. This one came from a nursery. And the hole that you put it in, it's kind of like planting a tree. You want a $100 hole for a $20 rose bush. It should be as deep as the pot that it's in, but twice as wide, because the roots go this way, out from it. So, the other thing you do when you get your initial hole drilled is to fill it full of water and watch how long it takes for the water to go down. You want it to drain down, otherwise you're planting your rose in a bathtub. So you want to make sure you have good drainage on the site, and the hole should be twice as wide, as I said, as the pot. Having very bad clay soil, you can buy garden soil to put in it, or of course, grow, your own compost, which I usually do, but didn't do too good this spring with it, so we're just going to do this and put it in. One guy advocated putting a cow manure pile down there at the bottom of it. I don't quite do that.
Do you put some type of compost down there? You have something here.
No, I just use that all-purpose garden soil down in there.
All right.
If you make your own, you're going to take the dirt out of your hole, put it in a wheelbarrow, and mix some sand. There was an old thing in here, so we got some roots that need to be chopped out. They're icky old roots. Some sand, some peat moss, and the dirt that came out of the hole.
Yeah.
And then you have your own,
Your own composted material.
Yeah. You can buy compost. We have a herd of cattle, but I bought a bag of black cow and got teased over it. I said, well, if you want to go out in the field and collect it for me, I'll use that. But I don't think that root's going to hurt anything.
No,
it's icky old anyway. Okay, so we have the hole.
Okay.
Softened out pretty good. Okay. Now
this is a hard one for me, is how do you get that out of that pot without messing things up? Did you do it by yourself, or do you need help?
I have to kind of test and see.
Oh,
it's going to slide.
easy.
It's going to slide out easy. Okay. Sometimes they won't.
Yeah, I know.
And if they don't, you put them down
and you have to cut them
and press.
Oh, I see.
All the way around and break them loose.
Oh, okay, that's a good point.
Yeah. Then if they still don't come out of the pot, take cutters or scissors, cut the bottom, and slowly slide the pot up over it.
Okay.
So, this is a grafted rose. This is the graft.
Okay.
And this is the root rose that it
Yeah.
grafted on. Okay, the other roses are on root roses.
Okay.
And those are the old-fashioned ones,
Yeah.
And first thing, check to see if it's root bound in the pot. Kind of tickle its roots loose.
Do you, okay, you spread it a little bit.
Yeah, tickle them loose so they can, or else they'll just keep going round and round and round. So you kind of tickle them loose. There you go.
Okay.
wet these down good before I took them out. And put your rose in. And you want to measure to see, you know, your ground level.
Yeah.
Because this is a raised bed, I'm going to be raising it up.
Okay.
The shank, or this part, some people bury that right down even with the ground.
Well, did you test for water? Did you do your water
Yes,
test?
I've already done the
Okay,
testing.
okay.
I did that a day or two ago.
Okay.
Okay, this rose that I'm putting out here is a climber. That's why it's back against the trellis pretty good.
Okay.
And I'm going to position it where you want it. And I don't let the shank go down in the ground because it tends to make root roses come off of the shank.
Oh.
So I leave it up high, but come winter, it's going to be necessary to put like a little collar around it and protect that graft,
I see.
that knot,
Okay.
because that's your rose.
Okay.
And an en-root rose, on its own root, you don't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
And it can even freeze back and come back with its own.
So you don't protect it in wintertime in any special way, other than that?
Yeah, that's about all I do is put a little collar around it, fill it full of straw or shavings or leaves or something, just so that it's kind of protected from the...
When you get all of these planted, are you going to put straw or something on here?
Yes, I put the mulch.
Oh, you put mulch on.
I put mulch down, and we can do that too.
Okay.
Okay, here's my trusty scissors. This happens to be Miracle Grow all-purpose garden soil. And I'm being a cheapie this year because I usually do my own soil, but time and energy. Okay, you fill the hole about a third full or half full. And
Do you firm it down at all? I know.
mm-hmm.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yep. Pack it down. Get it down in here.
Okay, so you step on it
Your
at a
trusty
certain
foot.
point. Okay, yeah. Okay.
And pack it down.
Okay.
And I think the hardest
Well,
part.
that looks good. So
Getting the
just
hole
a
in it.
light, firm pack. Is what you
Nice firm pack. Now you take, I brought the water out here
do.
rather
Oh,
than,
okay, so you water it at that
you
point.
water it down real good.
Okay.
Well,
Well, that's going down very fast. You
Yep.
got good soil underneath.
Now the hole's down pretty deep.
Uh-huh.
And all the water's going down
It
good.
is. It went down very fast.
Mm-hmm.
About a gallon and a half, it looked like.
Then you put this. I'm not advocating Miracle Grow. It was on sale. That's why it's going in here. And then smooth your dirt.
Wonderful. And you've got a rose bush.
And you have a rose bush.
And I see all the things I did wrong with the rose bush I planted the other day. I might replant it, I don't know.
Then you pack it down around it.
Yeah.
And make sure you got it all in there snug.
They're finicky things, aren't they, roses?
They can be to get started, but if
Once you're started,
you do pretty good.
your roses over there, are they a couple of years being?
Oh, they've been here for maybe 10 years.
Oh, 10 years.
Yeah, I could show you pictures of just the most beautiful roses.
Uh-huh.
At one time I had 200 roses.
Really?
But my health has gone down and I can't take the heat.
Yeah.
And age and energy, age goes up, energy goes down. And then you put
Are you planning to redo this entire bed with
Most of it. I'm trying to save most of the roses that's in there
Yeah.
are on their own root.
Uh-huh.
Those two I put in last year, they were just cheapies and that's so good. But it's on its own root. It's so much easier to take care of. But not all roses will go to it. Now I'm going to show also later what. Now we got the rose in the ground. Later, how to start your own rose. Especially, I've had people call me and say,
okay,
my aunt or my grandma has this rose in her yard. How do I start it? Okay, we are going to now mulch the rose to keep the weeds out and protect it, and it also holds the moisture around the rose. This is a feed bag. You can use newspapers, 4 layers of newspaper, nothing will grow up through it. Anything will grow down through it. So you can stop the weeds from coming up by using just 4 sheets of newspaper. You can also use cardboard. So all I did was cut it open, cut a hole, and we'll slide it up and around the rose. And so likewise with it. Now the mulch is over here and I'll have to get it. The best mulch is cypress, I have found. Okay, you want the mulch about 2 to 4 inches thick. This is a 2 cubic bag, and it's half of a bag. So, and then you just simply spread it around. You do not want the mulch up against the rose. Back a little bit. And just spread it out over your paper or your cardboard, whatever you're using. I find that cypress is the best. And this bag's been rained on, so it's a little bit damp. Now the next thing you would do is, sometime later in the day, is wet the cypress down, wet the mulch down to hold the, and get the bag wet. And there you have a climbing rose.
Wonderful.
The roses I'm putting on each side will be floribundas. Floribunda roses are roses that bloom in bouquets, I call them. You can see this one has bloomed, and you can see the buds on there. So,
will it bloom this summer? This is
these roses will bloom about once every 6 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes 3 weeks.
What
now,
about the one that you just planted?
Yeah.
Same
this
thing.
This one is bloomed and should be ready to bloom again. It's called a golden blaze. I've seen red blazes, but I've never seen a golden. So this is going to be a yellow rose, and this is going to be lavender, and this one will be lavender.
Wonderful.
So
yeah,
we kind of have a color scheme.
You have.
If you want.
Yeah. Wonderful. Cut.
Okay.
We're now moving from planting to trimming or maintenance of the rose. So Carol will tell us a couple of hints here too on trimming.
Okay. This rose I established earlier, and it's called Fragrant Cloud, and it's a hybrid tea, which means 1 bloom to each stem. When your roses bloom and die back, you want to take that off as soon as you can. Otherwise it'll start putting out babies like this one has. So you take the rose, we'll pretend like this one is already gone, and you count. The first leaves are going to be 3. You want to prune at least back past the first 5 leaflets. This one's ready to go anyway. And if you're taking it for cutting, which we will do this morning, you want to go deeper. If you will remember, the deeper the cut, the longer the next stem will be. If you cut short, like just past this 5th leaf, you will get a little short stem with your bloom. If you cut it really, really deep, the next rose that comes, the next bud that comes, will be on a very long stem. So it's your choice as you prune. Do I want a lot of blooms on little stems, or do I want some great blooms on big long stems? So we'll take this one. We're cutting this one in order to try to start a new rose on its own root. So here's the 5 leaf. That's the first one. 2. You need 2 5 leaves. We'll go ahead and take the bloom out. You need 2 5 leaves and go 2 more down, which will put this rose right there. Now,
Can you transplant that cutting?
this one we're going to try to root in a few minutes, okay? From where I cut it, this rose, ouch, it's got stickers. This rose was not pruned correctly, so you don't have any leaves. So we're going to take it all the way back until you find a nodule, and they will be located right inside. You can't see them when they first come off, but they'll be loaded right by that 5th leaf, and that will be where your new rose will grow. So if the leaves are off of it, just count your nodules back.
I got it.
And give it a snip. This one happens to already have a little start on it. This one was not cut back in time, so it's going to have a little tiny short stem rose. You can see the bud right here. So, all of your roses have been pruned back. They're very forgiving. They really are very forgiving. This one I'll take off right here. And we'll leave that.
Beautiful.
The one thing I didn't start out with, which I should have, is to tell you to please wear gloves. And these are rose gloves. They are made to protect your hands and your arms.
Oh.
Kind of spendy, but these are about 8 years old.
Oh.
So you don't dig in them, you work in your roses in them.
Oh.
I want everyone to understand this. If you're going to work in roses, they have thorns. You get scratched. If you haven't had a tetanus shot in the last 10 years, all Rosarians will tell you, get a tetanus shot.
Oh, really? Oh.
Because you're going to get scratched, you're going to get stickers, and you're playing in dirt, which has bacteria. So it's very, very important to get a tetanus shot. I need one in about 2 years, I think.
How long do they last?
10 years.
10 years.
A tetanus stuff. Okay, this is the little cutting that we took. And to begin with, if you're not going to do it right now, like we are, you would want to put it in some water. So we'll lay it right there. You need a gallon bag. Ziploc. Freezer I like because they're thicker. Okay? This I learned from the Rose Rustlers. This is a group of ladies and men that go all over and try to rescue antique roses out of cemeteries or gardens, anywhere they can get it.
Oh.
Okay, you need a handful of good seedless potting soil. This is greenhouse potting that you start roots in. Put it down in your bag. You want it a handful or 2 down in the corner. Okay? Now, you want the soil wet, moist. Not wet, moist. You don't want water to run out of it. So, we'll give this soil a little drink of water. It has vermiculite in it, so it's going to be very, there you go. So you want the soil wet. You can tell if you have it just about right because it kind of makes a lump.
Okay.
Okay? Now we got that ready. And you take your finger or straw, which I don't have out here and should have, and punch a hole down in it. 2 things missing. I knew I'd forget something. Okay, take your cutting and peel off you don't want any thorns on it, and take off your 2 bottom leaves. And you should wound it. You can do that with your fingernail. Right around where the leaf would have been. Okay? Pitiful looking, but to think that it will be a rose. What I don't have out here is root tone. You can buy little jars of root tone. Okay? You wet your rose, you stick it down in the root tone. I'm sorry I don't have it. And you flick it. It's just white, powdery. There's all kinds of brands of it, but you can get it at any nursery, usually just a little jar of root tone. You don't need gallons because you're not running a nursery. Okay, so we got it fixed. We got the root tone. Put it down inside the hole. Now, this may seem silly, but this is important. This is rubbing alcohol and water. And you take the bag and you gently mist the inside of the bag. That prevents any mold, or should, from growing. Press the dirt around the rose. Seal the bag. And the other thing I don't have with me, I'll try to do it this way, is a straw. You would insert a straw and blow up the bag. Okay? I'll put a straw in this later. I happen to have hundreds of these because I run a greenhouse. So something to brace it. You can put it in a bowl. You put it. Okay. There it is. Now you place this rose in sunlight, in light, but not direct sunlight. So my house has a porch on the north side, and I have a shelf there. And so I set the roses there. They get sunlight, but they don't get the hot morning or afternoon sun. And in about 6 weeks, you can take it out and peek around and see if you have any little white roots. And if so, then you're ready to pot it. And you will want to grow it in a pot for a couple of months until it gets a good root system. And then you're ready to put it in your garden.
Okay.
Okay? And you can take cuttings all year long. You don't have to get them in the spring. You can get them like we did today, where it's already bloomed, the bud's about to fall off. You can nip that off.
You prefer the spring as opposed to summer?
Yeah, some people won't take cuttings except on the first bloom.
Oh.
And then they'll sacrifice the bloom. They'll take the bud out. You don't have to, according to a very smart man from the University of Kentucky. So, we will see if we have a fragrant cloud growing on its own root.
So you will keep it in the bag all that time, huh?
About 6 weeks for it to get a good, solid root system. If it doesn't root, and when during that 6 weeks you check on it.
Yeah.
If it's turned black, it's
dead. Is it
dead.
to hold the moisture that you're doing the bag?
You don't put in more anything. It's got all the moisture it needs. It'll make a little greenhouse in there.
So it's like
and if I had a straw to blow it up real good, it would be fat and round,
Okay.
And you want to check for that. You want to make sure that you can see droplets, and it should root.
Wonderful.
Now, the new roses, the hybrid teas, the floribundas, the new climbers, are not as easy to root as your old roses. If you get antique roses, they're much, much easier to root.
Okay.
So, don't ever try to move a rose in the summertime.
Is that right?
Move roses in November.
November.
In November. If you've got a rose that's not doing well, and I had one, which is Elena. She was over here, and she just didn't like it there. So in November, I moved her. The next year, she was beautiful. She liked more sun, out in the open, more. So you move your roses in November. Prune them back pretty short and move them.
Okay.
So